Hello, welcome to Brainfuse. My name is Elise, and I'm hosting the webinar today. For those of you who are new to Brainfuse, we started our online tutoring services in late 1990s, and before that, we offered in-person and group tutoring. We also provided academic advisory services, work experience evaluations, and translations. The cornerstone of our services is live tutoring, and as shown by this diagram, we do something unique in our approach where students get an all-in-one learning experience, including an intensive, personalized test prep, and at the college's discretion, access to both Brainfuse and faculty tutors from the institution, a kind of a hybrid program. As you will soon see, students have a wide range of services that flow seamlessly together or can be used as a standalone depending on the student's learning style. Let's first begin by looking at the student homepage, and what you're looking at right now is the student homepage. And the first thing that you notice is you have these features on top, as well as these big buttons at the bottom. Please note that with Brainfuse, all the features here are customizable, meaning that many of these features came about at the client's request, client institution's request. And so some clients, some institutions do not want, for instance, the study tab or the collaborate tab. They're only interested in live help or the writing lab, in which case we only make available live help and writing lab. And the institution can also change its mind. So if they decide at the beginning of the semester they're only interested in live help and the writing lab, and as the semester progresses they're also interested in having their students access GRE, then just let us know and we'll be more than happy to activate. The best part is, one of the best features about Brainfuse is the fact that when you use our tutors, such as through the live help or through the writing lab and 24/7, yes, the institution does get charged for using our tutors. However, when you're using any of these asynchronous services, whether it be the lessons and videos that are found here or the practice tests, you're not charged, and the students do not end up using their hours, so that it's free of charge. So it's great to take advantage of these free services that are available. Okay, so as you can see, as the feature names, the names on the buttons imply, you can tell what each of the features do. Live help is where you go if you want to get live help. So if you're stuck on a accounting problem, you need to get a tutor, you should come here and get a live tutor. You can also click here to pre-schedule a session if you want to have a more control over who you're connecting with, who your tutors are. You want to see the list of tutors and choose your favorite tutor, then you can do that through the tutor match. Now, in terms of the list of subjects, they vary from institution to institution depending on what they would like to make available for their students. So it's not exactly the same for every institution. However, what you see here, these are the standard subjects. And for those institutions who actually have a kind of a hybrid program where they have their faculty tutors or student tutors using our platform to tutor their students, and as well as having their students have access to Brainfuse tutors, the list of subjects can be longer. So for instance, our tutors, the Brainfuse tutors at this time, they do not do paralegal tutoring. However, if the college has student tutors or the faculty tutors who would love to, professors who would love to do paralegal tutoring for their students, they can do that through here. We have a smart routing system where the system recognizes the tutor from the institution or the college. And so if there is a tutor both from Brainfuse and from the institution for the same subject, let's say that both tutors are available for calculus, then our system has either smart routing, so then the student will be first, the first preference will be for the institution's faculty tutor. Now, that said, most institutions, many of them, they opt to just use our tutors, and if they have any faculty members who would love to use our platform to do some kind of online tutoring for their students, Unless it's a big program, we recommend just using Meet, which is a collaboration tool, which allows for audio, etc. And I'll go into that in more detail later. Okay, so that's where you go for live help. And Skill Surfer is where you go to find lessons and videos in various subject areas, very useful tools. So here you find college preparation, college lessons, mathematics, history, econ, etc. And these are constantly getting updated. For those who are interested in graduate school entrance tests, this is where you find them, including lessons, practice tests, etc., including PCAT. And then here we have the career preparation. Okay, and so these are the prep tests. And if anybody is interested, they can come here and take a look at it, including job resources, etc. And again, any kind of asynchronous services where you're not using our tutors, then you're not charged. So you don't have to worry about, the student does not have to worry about running out of hours. Here we have the Writing Lab and 24/7 Center. And as I mentioned earlier in the program, in the webinar, you see how we have these smaller hyperlinks, or links on the top, and they actually are integrated, linked up with the big buttons at the bottom. And many of these features, many of our services that are available on the home page are also integrated with our whiteboard, the student whiteboard. So for instance, any kind of live session that you do with Brainfuse, you're going to find them in past sessions. So any kind of session, any kind of live session where our whiteboard is used, whether the regular student whiteboard or the Meet whiteboard, which I just mentioned before, it's going to be saved and stored here. You can replay, click here to replay the entire whiteboard. You click here to just look at the transcript, or you can email the whiteboard replay to other people. And the recipient of the whiteboard replay does not need to be a member of Brainfuse. So you can be sending it to, let's say, you're a student and you have some doubts about what one of our tutors has said, or maybe you just want to run it by your professor. Then email it to your professor, have them take a look at the whiteboard replay, and make any comments or suggestions. So any kind of live session is saved and stored in past sessions. And Writing Lab and 24/7, this is where you submit your paper, get the feedback, and anything that you send to us is saved and stored in the Message Center. Same thing with 24/7. 24/7, the difference between the Writing Lab and 24/7 is 24/7 is for non-writing questions. So let's say accounting, for instance, math or science, submitted through here. And you can see the different types of files that are accepted, including PowerPoint, JPEG, Excel, etc. And unless if there's a holiday, usually the turnaround time is 24/7. And you see the highlighted box is the tutor response. So if this were an actual student response to student paper that's been submitted, when the tutor sends it back, it shows up in the blue shaded box here with the return file from the tutor. And the Message Center is also linked up with our whiteboard, so that if there's a paper that the student wants to review with the tutor, with a live tutor, then they can do that because there's a Message Center button on the student whiteboard. Language Lab is where you go if you want to learn Spanish, live Spanish help. The Adult Learning Center, many of the colleges and universities, they tend not to want this service, so we can take it off, so just let us know. For the purposes of this webinar, we want to show you all the features that we have available so that you know what options that are available to you, so that maybe now you don't want to avail yourselves of all these features, but at a later point, when you know that you have these features, other features available, you can always change your mind. So to just briefly go into the Adult Learning Center, this is where you go. Let's say you want to submit your resume. This is a service area that's specific to resume help. So here you can submit a resume, upload your resume, send it to one of our resume coaches, or get live resume help. Now, there's nothing to prevent somebody from using the writing lab to submit their resume. That's fine. But ALC is the one that has the area that's devoted to resume help. Okay. Office hours is the feature that will be used by institutions, colleges, universities that want to run a large faculty tutoring, online tutoring, and they're going to be using our platform, the Whiteboard platform, to have their faculty schedule sessions with their students. So the way it works is it can be really centralized, where there's a college administrator who either uses either one of these admin pages that we make available. This is more of a simpler. This is a simpler version of the administrative page where you can manage the tutors, the faculty tutors. This is a much more robust, more involved administrative site. So two types of administrative sites. And so you can register your faculty tutors and control it in a centralized fashion. Or if you want to have a hands-off approach, then you can just allow your faculty instructors, if they want to tutor using our platform, have an online session, then they can click on Register to Tutor from our website, and they can just register on their own, so there's no need for a college administrator to spend time on it, create their tutor username, and once, for the sake of just moving things along, I just created this tutor username already. And all right, so this is tutor homepage, and as you can see, they can just add sessions, office hours. But as I mentioned before, unless your institution is really gung-ho in having a large online tutoring program for your faculty, where they'll be using our platform, and so your students have access to our tutors, your tutors. If it's just a matter of once in a while your faculty having the ability to chat or collaborate or show something to their students, we highly recommend just using the Me feature. But the reason why we're showing you the office hours is so that you know that you have the option. And really, we could just do a whole webinar just on showing you how office hours work. So then what happens is once the faculty or the student tutors from your college schedule themselves in, then when the students click on this, they see the list of professors or student tutors who are available, and when they're available, and they click on the link, and they get connected. LEAP is one of those features, as is the case with many of these other features, including Skill Surfer. LEAP came about because there is a demand for some kind of a more structured preparation for those students who don't yet have the college readiness skills in reading, writing, and math. So with LEAP, there are other test centers, test spreads. So there's test center here, there's GRE test prep, AccuPlace at Compass. The difference between those test centers and LEAP is specifically for those students who really are lacking in reading, writing, math skills that are essential for college work. So this is remediation. So after they take one of our diagnostic tests, they get a feedback, a detailed study plan like this. They can also click here to view the test questions, as well as the actual, just the simple list of all the topics they need to work on. And notice how our system is completely integrated so that you can actually get a live tutor through here. Order of operations is the topic that you want to work on. Click here. The tutor sees the topic. Go over it together. And this is a pie chart, and the reason why it's there is because, let's say, every time you finish one of our mini quizzes or lessons or videos, and you click on Done, you see how the colors change. And so if you actually go through the entire study plan, then the entire pie chart is going to change colors. And again, the best part is everything is integrated. And let's say you're in the middle of watching one of these videos. This is absolute value. And you started playing it. You started watching this video. It has audio, by the way. You don't understand it, then you can just click here, get live help. Or you can click on done if you understand everything. So let me just show you what the student whiteboard, this will be a good segue into what the whiteboard looks like. As you can see, there's no special download involved. Okay, so this is the student whiteboard. Okay. Let me actually connect with myself. Hold on one second. I forgot to log in as a tutor. So I'm logged in as a demo tutor. And let me just go back to the lead page again. And I'm just going to click on any one of these. Okay, so I have connected with myself, as you can see. Elise137 is the demo tutor, which is me. Getting Help 7 is also me, logged in as student. And now from the tutor side, you see how, this is a tutor whiteboard. I can see how the student has requested to work on this particular lesson. So at this point, I can verify with the student if this is indeed what they want to work on. And I can also right-click on the student's username. Getting Help 7 is the student username. And I can click on Who Is to see if they took any Brainfuse quizzes. And if they have, then the Who Is page is going to tell me the same information as what I see here. That is, what the student got wrong and what they need to work on. So it's even though there's no guarantee that you're going to get the same tutor, it's very personalized and very customizable in the sense that it's very specific to the student. And then if there are any quizzes they haven't taken, I can push it over to their side and take it while they're connected with me. There's also desktop sharing that's available. All right. So this is Student Whiteboard, and let me quickly go over it. I'm going to skip over the whiteboard functions that are pretty obvious what they do. This is obviously for printing. This is the message center that I was talking about. So this button is linked up with the message center that's here. So anything that you send through the Writing Lab 24/7, and really, let's say you want to send something to the tutor right now, then you can just browse and send it directly through the whiteboard to the tutor. And whatever you send through the whiteboard to the tutor is also found in the message center. Whatever you do is saved and stored in the message center. All right, going back to this. So this is a way to share files. The official name is BrainShare, but I just call it file sharing. And this is for emailing the whiteboard. So let's say you're in the middle of a session and you want to email it to other people. You can just click here and put in as many email addresses as you want. You can also always go back later and email it to other people by going to past sessions. And this is CloudPack. And the great thing about CloudPack is it's an online locker. It's a way to, it's also found on your home page. So if you want to upload something onto the whiteboard, let's say it's a PowerPoint or some kind of file, you had chemistry notes and you want to upload onto the whiteboard, you will first save it here. So create a folder, add, call it chemistry, and then save it. And then whatever document that you saved, just click here and upload it directly onto the whiteboard. Now note that the whiteboard is actually, at first glance, you may think it's small, but it actually is not. It expands in both directions, so you can put as many things as you want. Okay, this is the free write eraser. This is the ABC for typing, font for changing, the color, the font size and the type. This is for changing color, more colors. This is one of my favorite tools, copy paste, and very useful, especially if you have a when you use it in conjunction with our test preparation, very useful. So let's say so my test is where all of the tests that you took is found here. The pie chart is found on the leaf. So let's say I want to be going over this question together, and I want to put it on the whiteboard, but I don't want to manually copy-paste like this because it's cumbersome. So just pick any screen capturing tool, and then go back to your whiteboard. Put your cursor there, paste, and there it is. And you can write on it, do whatever you need to do with it, etc. Okay, this is the graphing tool. I'm only focusing on features that first-time users may not know how to use right away. That said, there is a student guide booklet which goes into detail about how you can use the whiteboard. Right? This is a student guide booklet, and there's a whole section, whole area on how do I use the whiteboard. And it goes into detail what each of the features do. Now, in order to change the number settings, just be sure to double-click, okay? And you can change it to pi, fraction, etc. Same thing with graph paper. And of course, what good is a graph paper if you cannot write on it? And just right-click, just double-click, not right-click. Double-click if you need to change the number settings. These are free shapes and very useful because you just put them anywhere. Math and science symbols. Again, just make sure your cursor is there. Put your symbol there. If there's something that you don't see, let us know. We've been adding symbols for the past 10 years, 10 plus years based on client feedback, customer feedback. Superscript, subscript. Again, very easy to use. Audio is not used with our tutors, but it is available if you decide to have your faculty use our whiteboard or through Meet. And the reason for that is security reasons. We have live monitors, and it's impossible for them to be listening in on hundreds and hundreds of conversations happening all at once. Plus, if there's a complaint, we need to be able to check up on it, and there has to be a recorded written record. All right, so that is the student whiteboard in a nutshell. Again, all the whiteboard information that I'm reviewing is found in the student guide booklet. And any issues or any questions about Brainfuse, whether it's technical or anything else, please be sure to send your inquiries, questions to info@brainfuse.com. Or if it's technical and it's urgent, best to call 1-866-272-4638. And this is the end of session survey, which is also customizable that students get, and which becomes part of the usage report. Now, with the skill surfer, let me see if I can show you. Say pre-algebra. You can also get live help, as you can see. It's also integrated. So let's say you're doing this factoring polynomials and you want to get live help discussing it. Then your tutor will see this lesson and go over it together with you. Okay. Tutor match is exactly the same as the pre-scheduling tool that's found here. So you can pre-schedule with your favorite tutor, whether it be through here, clicking here, or clicking in through a tutor match. For institutions tutors, there's also the option, if you can see, there are different modalities that you can choose. So right now the default setting is online, but if you decide to have a hybrid program, it'll be phone and also on campus. Here is the study tab, and this is where you find flashbulbs. It's a fun idea where, and this is something where faculty may want to create flashcard sets or quizzes for their students and use it as a kind of online study group session, or even students can do it. Just be sure to either log in through your Facebook or sign up. It's a separate login. You need to sign up separately if you want to, and register if you want to create your own set of flashcards or online quizzes. This is GRE, and very comparable. This is something that came about, this service, in response to a demand from one of our institution clients, and I believe it was Rutgers, and they wanted something, a GRE preparation program that's geared towards, specifically geared towards busy professionals, busy moms and dads who really don't think they have the time to take the GRE, but it's a necessity for them to take it. So it's very well developed. It's very comparable to what you get from Kaplan and Princeton Review, and it's for free, unless you use our tutors. In many of those programs, it's hundreds of dollars just to pay for online content. With us, it's free, and you only get charged if you use our live tutors. And even when you buy live health services, live tutoring from Kaplan, or let's say Princeton Review, or any of those competitors, it's only twice a week or 3 times a week. It's restricted as to how many times you can get a live tutor. But with us, there's no such limitation. You can get a tutor anytime you want. And you can choose the subject area, take a practice test, get a study plan, and the resource section is especially well developed. So again, as I mentioned before, we created this with busy professional in mind. So we have here 3 sets of videos. So if you really don't have the time, you need a quick guide. You just need to get some sense of what GRE is so that you have some idea going into the test as you're about to take the test. And this is a cramming. These 3 videos are going to help you cram. We call it Brainfuse Quick Guide, and these are videos that summarizes what GRE is about and the essential strategies, the bare minimum that you need to know. And then we have GRE Simplify, your step-by-step guide, which is much more developed in terms of having more details, more step-by-step strategies, the information about the test, tips. And then we have the full list of all the lessons that you need to know. And some of the videos, a combination of videos, practice exercises, etc. Again, all of that content is for free. And the AccuPlacer, Compass Test Prep, all of our test prep services work the same way. So you take a test, get a live tutor, or some combination where you are in the middle of taking a test, you get a live tutor, or just get a live tutor. This is a generic test center, so we make available our standard English, Math, Science test. But if you have your own tests, then you give it to us, and we'll be more than happy to release them through here. Resources, again, this is something that we show during a webinar so that you know you have that option, but we usually take it off when the web page goes live for the client, for the institution, because unless you have resources for your students, then it's going to be empty. So then there's no point in having this button. All right, collaborate. We finally get to collaborate. And I want to go into the Meet Whiteboard in a little bit more detail. And as I mentioned before, the student guide booklet goes into detail about how the Meet Whiteboard is different from the student whiteboard. So if you forget anything, or if you just need a textual explanation that's found in text format, then you can always refer back to the student guide booklet. All right, the Meet Whiteboard, what's unique about it is it gives you private-public option on the whiteboard. So for instance, let me schedule a Meet session for myself. And you can put in as many email addresses as you want. Put in a description, send the invitation, and I'm brought to my calendar page, and I can edit, either take off some of these email addresses or add more email addresses, change the time, or delete the whole thing. All right, so I'm going to enter. Okay, great. So as you can see, the audio is active, and the Meet Whiteboard looks a little different, but what's great about it is it carries over whatever you did on the regular whiteboard. So if you have CloudPack, PowerPoints that you saved onto your student whiteboard and was uploading from the student whiteboard, you can do the same thing on the Meet Whiteboard. Same thing with the Brainshare file sharing feature. So if you had documents here, then you can also find it here on the Meet Whiteboard. And this is the same feature where you can email the whiteboard to other people. So I'm going to log in as an attendee. Let me go to my Yahoo email. So here is the invitation. And as you can see, I don't need to be a Brainfuse member. I just get a link, I click on it, and I can sign up at this point or not. I'm just going to enter session. So I'm entering as the person who got invited. Okay, so after clicking on enter, the Meet Whiteboard opens. So this is the Meet Whiteboard for the organizer. And as I mentioned before, it carries over the Meet Whiteboard, even though it's a separate whiteboard, different whiteboard, it carries over whatever you did on the regular whiteboard, the regular student whiteboard. So if you have PowerPoint, you have things saved in CloudPack, you would like to use it in the Meet Whiteboard setting, you can do that. Message Center is also found here. Also, the ability to email transcript, that is, it's not really transcript, it's session replay of the whiteboard, so found there. And then with the Meet Whiteboard, what makes it unique, and the reason why we're spending some time going into it, is because by right-clicking on any of the participants' username, you get all these options like Enable Private Whiteboard. So what that does is this is the person who got invited, 1525552, and let's say I do something on my whiteboard. Then you see how whenever somebody does something on their whiteboard, it lights up in red. And but whatever they do on their whiteboard stays on their whiteboard. It does not show up on the public whiteboard. So that the Meet Whiteboard is designed for a group, a large group, so that Each person can have their own whiteboard, and at the same time, the person who organized the whole thing can control the whiteboard access, who has what access, and also whatever the organizer, me, do on my whiteboard is going to show up for everybody. So let's say I put a graph. Then you see how it's also showing up on the participants' whiteboard as well. And if there's any need ever to take away whiteboard privilege, you can just click here. If there's a need to take away somebody's chat, you can do that as well. The default setting for chat is private. What that means is I just typed hello, and you see how it shows up as private. So what that means is whatever this person says to me comes only to me. But let's say I want to make it available and viewable by everybody. Then just click here, or just disable all private chat, and then what this person says is now going to show up in black letters, no longer kind of grayed out, and can be viewed by other people. You can also take away the audio permission if there's a need to take away the person's audio permission. And so it's designed for a group setting, and it can be very useful because there's audio, and when you need to talk, both the person who organized it and also the person who's attending, they need to press the talk button. The reason for that is otherwise, if you have a lot of background noise, then everybody is going to be hearing everything, which you probably don't want to do. And note that you can right-click on the participant's username, start desktop sharing. Transfer Student is only for those programs where they're running a large online tutoring program from the institution. You can release the person, click on who is, if their person also happens to be a Brainfuse user. And again, very useful. All right, so that is the Meet whiteboard in a nutshell. All right, now we get to Brainwave. And Brainwave, the difference between Brainwave and Meet is Brainwave is asynchronous. So you're not meeting with anybody live, but you're creating something on the whiteboard and send it to other people so they can see it and send you any comments, and you send it by email. So after you create a Brainwave, okay, so do whatever you need to do on the whiteboard, stop recording, give it a description. I'm going to just call it demo, uncheck this, and then share. And just put in as many email addresses as you want and send the Brainwave. And it arrives in the recipient's email inbox as a link that they just click on and the whiteboard plays. And the two are not mutually exclusive, so maybe you first do a Brainwave and you decide at a later point to do a Me session and collaborate further. All right, so as mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we have the live tutoring is the cornerstone, but we have all these other services that complement the main service, which is the live tutoring. And we also offer a wide range of services. Many of those services are free. Now, at this point, I'd like to spend some time reviewing some suggestions for raising student awareness, because in many instances, there are many colleges who are switching over from another provider, and students are used to using something else. And we found that some of these are suggestions from our faculty, coordinators, or administrators, and they find that attaching Brainfuse information flyer to the syllabus helps. Also making the webinar available on the student portal right next to the Brainfuse link, or including it in the orientation package, that would also help. We're more than happy to send you flyers and posters and placing them where students generally receive tutoring in tutoring centers. That also helps. Obviously, email program notifications to students also helps. And we're more than happy to do as many webinars as is necessary to make the faculty be aware of the program. Students are more likely to use the service if they know that their professor or their instructor recommends it. And if there's any social media announcement, that would be also helpful as well. And if there are any other suggestions, please let us know. Okay, so at this point, we're done with the webinar. But again, if you have any questions or you decided already which features that you'll be keeping, or you want to change anything that's here. So right now, you're not going to see on your site office hours. And again, the purpose of this webinar is for me to show you everything that we have to offer, all the options. But for the purposes of students using the website, we want to make sure that we remove any button that's going to confuse the students. So if there's any feature that you're not using right now, like office hours, then those buttons are removed. So office hours you don't see, but now you know what it does. And again, we recommend that. So the faculty, they just need to register as a student or contact us if you're not sure how to do that directly at info@brainfuse.com. We can just create a username for you, and you can just go to Meet and create an online session with your student. And we'll also be, if not already, removing the resources. I know that there's definitely interest in keeping Compass. But I would say, I mean, why not just leave AccuPlacer there as well, or even the GRE, because you never know. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you again for attending the webinar. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly at elise@brainfuse.com or info@brainfuse.com for students who have any questions or issues. And there's also the contact information that's available, same information at the end of the student guide booklet. Thank you again for attending the webinar.